We move our attention now back to the issue of crime. We've been talking about cash vans. They're still very much coming under attack. Almost 250 incidents have been reported since January this year. Now, while police are making some inroads, the gangs continue to strike with impunity. Let's get some insight now from crime analyst Chris de Kock. A very good morning to you, Chris, and thank you so much for your time today. One of the things, Chris, that has been focused on and that onlookers have been observing is that specifically with the N12 cash-in-transit heist that took place this weekend, one of the onlookers who was there says it took about 30 minutes or so before the police could actually arrive on the scene of that crime. Talk to us about those time spans. Is this normal? Is this the average response time for police in incidences such as this, or is this an outlier?
No, I think especially in the case of CITs and heist, road heist, I think the reaction time of the police are not like this all the time. I think this is an outlier. Most of the reaction is quite quick, and it should be, because you know, time is of essence here. If you can quickly react, you may caught these robbers in the act or as they fled the scene.
Now, you've been working with the police for many years. You were the former head of police crime and information as well. Are there units specifically within the police that actually focus on cash-in-transit heists? Do they get any sort of special training for this particular sort of crime?
No, not that I'm aware of. Not while I was there. There was not a specific unit looking at this. It is mostly people. Well, I mean, they're investigators which specialize in CIT robbers, but it's not a unit as such. And then crime intelligence. Crime intelligence should focus on CIT robberies, because that's a highly organized crime, and the only medicine for organized crime is to have intelligence on what they are doing and who they are and how they are functioning, because that's the only way that you're going to arrest them in the end.
What we're finding now, and this has been part of the criticism, is the fact that the reaction is exactly that. It's very reactionary as opposed to being preventative. Where do you believe the gaps are with crime intelligence? This is not a new crime. Habitually, every single year, we see this happening. We were speaking to the Cash-in-Transit Association earlier on, and they were saying, actually, there are no trends, because now this is happening throughout the year, not only just around the December period. Where are the gaps in crime intelligence, do you believe?
Well, in the last 2 months, I actually got a lot of hope that crime intelligence is on top of issue like, for example, CIT robberies, because if you can remember, about 5-6 weeks ago, we had the situation in Louis-Trichardt, where 19 cash-in-transit, suspected cash-in-transit robbers were actually planning, and they would have struck that day to strike a money depot in Louis-Trichardt. And what happened there was then that the Hawks and some other units went to the house, and a shootout occurred where these 19 people were shot. So clearly there, the police had information. They even had information that 4 of the same group are actually in Thohoyandou. And since then, there was quite a few cases where the police went to houses. There was one also this past week, where they go to a house and a shootout occurs. So they must have information either from the public or from crime intelligence that something is going to occur, and then they go to that house.
On average, is there a set number of people in these particular syndicates? The reports that are coming out now, I don't think they've been verified at all, but the number that's been bantered around is 20 for this N12 heist. The fact that there were around 20 or so individuals working together in order to conduct this heist. Tell us about these organized crime syndicates and how they work and how they organize themselves.
Yeah, when it comes to CIT robbers, a very good study was done by Mr. Henny Lochner, and in that study, actually, it was clearly determined that the groups are quite high, especially when it's the heist, where they stop a transit vehicle on the highway and they then blow open the safe and all of those. Then the groups can be anything between 15 and 20. Because you have specialized skills there. You have a person who drives the vehicle, usually a Mercedes-Benz, old model, a heavy vehicle, to bump into the transit vehicle at a specific point, and then to let the CIT vehicle roll onto its side, or so that the roof are open. And then you have people who can work with explosives. You have people who have very good driving skills to drive away. And what is also found in CIT robbers, they don't have a fixed syndicate that operate for a few years. It is some ringleaders, some planners. They then get a team together and they plan up to 6 months before they strike. And in this period, they select people, drivers, explosive experts, and so on and so on.
What is the role, Chris, of private security vehicle, companies like Fidelity, for example? We've spoken about the SAPs and their role in this. But what about those Fidelity vehicles that are actually used for the transportation of the cash? How is their security makeup? Do they have any sort of panic buttons in those vehicles? They know that they're targets. One would assume that they are kitted and prepared for such incidences.
No, I think they are prepared, most of them. They are prepared, and there will be quite a lot of things. These vehicles will be followed on a screen. They will be monitored how they move, so that if there's anything strange, the operations room will know it. They will have panic buttons. They will have radio communication and other communication with the ops room. So I think most of these companies take precautionary measures because they know they are a target, and especially when they transport large amounts of money. They even have technology like in some companies they have the technology of the foam that fill the vault, the safe in the vehicle the moment they come under attack. They press a button and 2 kinds of liquids mix in the vault, and it fill up the vault with a foam, which then immediately make the money can't be taken, and the money will be useless in any case.
Do we know, Chris, if this was the case in this particular instance, the N12 one?
No, I don't think so, because there the robbery occurred. I'm not aware of that.
Right. Well, we thank you so much for your insight this morning. Certainly something very meticulous, orchestrated and planned as far as the CIT robberies are concerned. That was crime analyst Dr. Chris de Kock. Thank you for your time this morning.